I didn't actually know it at the time, but the brilliant marketing technique. We purchased about 5,000 t-shirts with our logos on it, and our truck driver, he would go around to these sites and he'd be handing them out to all the tradies. So within a few weeks' time, we had like half the city wearing our t-shirts. Right, we got to about 80 staff, and generally for any contracting business, when they get to about 20, that's when they start to feel the operational pain. Right, so we tried all types of different things to streamline the process. Like, for example, we had a whiteboard in our office, and it was split up into 6 days, and we had 6 sets of magnetic strips for each staff member, and we'd drag and drop those around to organize the labor and text message the guys. We had a site diary process, so we tried to implement a process where we'd laminate plans on site and have them on site, and then every time there was an issue, we'd get the guys to run to the toolbox and pull out the folder and mark it up with a permanent text over that lasted a couple of weeks. So we're constantly trying to innovate and find ways to streamline the operations. The business got that big that we were pumping, the work was pumping, the business was doing well, we were making money, but we were constantly getting money deducted from our claims every month, right? So the nature of our business was you're working on top of 3 or 4 different trades, and you're covering up their work, right? So, and we had to hand our work over to a specific standard, right? So, but there were so many things outside of our control, the weather issues, concrete supply. We were working so hard on the tools ourselves, doing the actual work, and come time to get our claims paid, the builder, right, the head contractor would always hold back money, or they'd keep our retentions. General contractors or head contractors, they have teams of people keeping records of what's happening on site, whereas subcontractors, they don't have the admin staff, required to keep a paper trail, and the tools. They didn't have the tools. We just got sick and tired of it, right? Working so hard to make all this money, we were just grinding it out, not just doing the work out on site, but then, managing the admin side of the business as well. And we just got sick and tired of, that power dynamic. It was like the breaking point for us. It was a super hot day, summer day. We went out at the tools. We killed ourselves all day. We came back to the office, and we had no energy left, and we had a stack of timesheets to process. We had disputes we were dealing with, left, right, and center, and we still had text messages to go out for the next day. And we kind of all looked at each other that day, and we were like, there's got to be a better way. Like, we can't keep doing this, right? We went out to the market and we researched, software platforms that were available. And back then, the only platforms that were available were for the head contractor. So we're like, why don't we just build something ourselves, right? So the first thing that we wanted to build was a paper trail, a record keeping process for issues that were happening on site. So, our vision was, okay, we build an app where the guys can take photos, they can mark it up on the drawing, and then we can run reports so that whenever there's a dispute, we can go back to it and say, okay, this is what happened on that day and that day and that day. So that's how it all started.